described as an affable, eccentric brewing wizard in oversized wellies. I am of course not talking about the beer, which is Faith by Northern Monk, but I am talking about the guy that brews the beer. This week I sat down with Brian Dickson, the co-founder and technical director of Northern Monk, and we chatted about everything from his journey into beer to the importance of a strong core range to just beer and brewing in general. So if you've got an interest in any of those things, then stick around because I think this will be a good one. So Brian,
hi.
You are a co-founder of Northern Monk.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your your journey here and how you kind of landed up as a co-founder of one of the biggest breweries in the UK.
So I studied music at uni, so totally relevant. Working in a pub over in Huddersfield, getting really into my beer. And yeah, basically the landlord kind of sent me off to learn to brew. Travelled around the country and sort of volunteering in different breweries, and we got a little sort of cuckoo brand going for the pub and created a few specials, did a few collaborations. So had a little bit of experience, but nothing regular. Wasn't really going anywhere. Russell had already started Northern Monk as a sort of cuckoo thing, sort of early 2013, I think. But then he managed to find some investment later on to take it full time, and he needed a full-time brewer to go along with that. So I saw the advert, was considering it, and then at Leeds International Beer Festival in 2013 I got drunk enough to build up the courage and go and find him and express interest, and yeah.
So you didn't know Russ before this?
No, I think we'd met maybe once just when he was delivering beer to the pub, but yeah, no relationship at all really. But yeah, so we had a couple of conversations later on, mostly over Skype, and apparently, but must have liked what he heard because he asked me to come on board, which was ace. So then, yeah, I got involved sort of back end of 2013, started designing the kit and so on, and then we started trying to find our permanent home, which was the Flax store. We're lucky to find that in sort of December 13, and and then I had to sort of try and act like I knew what the hell I was doing when I was installing all of this, and we got there in the end. It was took a bit longer than planned, but
awesome. I think I'm right in saying that as far as your kind of partnership as the co-founders, your side fits more on the brewing side.
Yeah, so yeah, it was just the two of us. So yeah, I brewed it, packed it, palletized it, what have you, and Russ would be driving around in his mum's Renault estate and trying to sell the stuff, and I was looking after the marketing and brand side of stuff as well. But yeah.
Oh, amazing. One of the things that I get asked by friends that don't know much about craft beer and stuff, and I'm throwing around these kind of terms like, oh, that's a core beer. So what is a core beer and what's a core range? So I suppose for the layman, kind of just explain what a core beer is.
It's our regular beer, so they're beers that we make year round, all the time. I suppose that. Every brewery is different, but you usually expect them to be approachable, session strength beers, familiar styles, because I guess they're the base of your entire brand really. They're the brands, they're the beers that people all the time will come to know you by, and they're the beers that you want newcomers to beer and newcomers to your brand to discover and try, and so they need to be good and consistent, and and otherwise they're just not going to come back, and B, they need to be fairly approachable, and not scare them off at day one.
No, yeah. And obviously yours is, your main one is Faith.
Yeah. Which
is what we're drinking now. Just session strength, really kind of easy to get into, very accessible for just anyone that's kind of willing to try that kind of hazy pale.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about the background of it. How did you stumble upon it and design it?
Yeah, I've been for a few iterations. I think it was 2015 we first brewed it. Again, back then all beers were bright. There's still very much West Coast styles leading the way, but even then there was still that kind of like trying to desire for something that was just a little bit fruitier in the range. I know all of our core beers were made up of 4 or 5 hops. When you're a small brewery, especially sort of 10 years ago, it was really hard to get hold of interesting hop varieties and regular volume of good hop varieties. And so I was drilled into me quite early on from a few brewing mentors, if you like, that your core beer should have multiple hops in it, because if you suddenly can't get one, your entire brand doesn't change, the entire flavour profile doesn't change. So Faith was the first exception to that when we launched it. We actually did it as a single hop beer with Citra. Citra's become like the signature hop of craft beer, I guess, these days. It's, so unique, tropical, citrusy, fruity. It's just, delivers everything you want in literally in one hop variety. So it's an easy win. So yeah, it was the first ever single hop beer we did. But again, being a small brewery, we had a pretty small Citra contract. So I think we brewed it for about 2 or 3 months, 4 or 5 batches maybe. And then that was our Citra. Our Citra contract was running out. Nobody was offering me any more. And yeah, that's actually how it even came about. But yeah, so Faith was put away for a while. And then 2017, we actually moved into the bigger production site around the corner, Sydenham Road. And with that, there was a bit of a brand refresh at the time. And in the meantime, which is up 2015-17, we'd been to States. We'd seen what was going on around New England with like Other Half and Trillium and Treehouse. And you learned a lot about these hazy, totally opaque, juicy IPAs and how they're made. And so we wanted to bring those into our range, and also the 440 cans, which were associated with the States as well. Like, that wasn't a thing over here. So we refreshed the core range, and Faith and Heathen both entered the range in Tall Boy cans, and much more like they are now. And so hazy, we added wheat and oats into the crest to get that appearance, obviously, but mostly aiming for that mouthfeel, that silkiness. Citra was joined by Mosaic and a little bit of Columbus in there. Columbus just bringing out a little bit of dampness underneath, so it's not too one-dimensional. And then your Mosaic, obviously, is just another classic, juicy, modern hop. And then yes, Heathen's this big brother, so similar setup. And yeah, it's basically been like that ever since. We've obviously evolved it over time, made it more consistent. Our equipment's improved as well at Sydenham, and obviously the team's grown and learned a lot. So yeah, it's pretty much been ever present ever since, and it rapidly, certainly sort of 2019 and then going into lockdown, very much became the flagship beer, and as it's our favourite beer that we do as well. So
yeah, I mean, almost I suppose by necessity as well, the fact that it was good that you managed to have a beer that was ready to go as a core,
yeah.
Especially when everything was kind of closing down over lockdown and stuff, where you could lean on that.
Absolutely, and like the sort of keep the faith, gotta have faith kind of slogan as well. I think it definitely resonated at that time.
Is that kind of when it kind of got big then, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, it really took off around then. We held off putting it into supermarkets for a few years, I think, as well. Just like, but lockdown changed sort of that mindset a lot as well. In that, the range of beers in supermarkets and the breweries going into them like grew and changed so rapidly. Again, by necessity, that it was around about that time we decided it was time to put Faith in. Actually, before COVID happened, we made that decision. And it just coincided that sort of March 2020. Faith went into Morrison's and into Tesco's, and then obviously the world locked down and everybody was drinking Faith at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the supermarket aspect is it's a very grey area among the craft beer scene, and some breweries have done it more successfully than others. And I would definitely say that Northern Monk, along with probably some of your northern counterparts like North and Vocation as well, they've managed to, or they and you have managed to kind of stock in supermarkets without kind of getting landed with any brand damage or
Yeah, I think it's tricky at times. I think on the whole it was managed pretty well, and above all, we've always done such a wide range of styles and different brands, from the core range right through to the patronage projects. Patronage projects don't go anywhere near the supermarket. There's always been a good independent offering. Trying to get the balance right, maybe on ABVs and price points and stuff is a hard one, but there's always, whatever your supermarkets or your preferred style of beer, I'd like to think that we tick the box pretty well across the range.
And obviously, you've got 2 sites in Leeds. So where we are right now at the refectory, whereas your original brewery, this brews the smaller batch, more OFS stuff, essentially.
Exactly, yeah. So like OFS sessions at the moment. We do the travel series during lockdown. A lot of at least half of the specials we do. We still do 6 a month. Come through here. And there's other little odds and sods. We do a bit of cask beer down here now. If we need a small batch something, it's here really. What's brewed down here has changed a lot over the years. It's always sort of just adapted to demand and what's needed. So still brews away a couple of times a week.
And over at the main site, that's where you brew Faith and you
core age, supermarket beers, and the Patriots project is still done over there as well. Those still hugely popular, so we still need the volume over there. And again, we've got the equipment over there to allow us to push things a little bit further and really go to town on fruit beers or on dry hops and still make sure we're delivering on the product.
Obviously, you touched a little bit on kind of Heathen earlier, which is kind of like you said, the big brother of Faith. Just give us, because obviously at the time we're releasing this, you've just released Great Heathen Army, which is like a double dry hop version of Heathen. Just tell us a bit about how Heathen came about, because I did a bit of research before and I didn't know the backstory about.
Yeah, so I'd say when we were making Faith back in 2015 and we were running along the Citra, so we kind of decided to do like a double Faith and just throw all the Citra we had left into like just one stronger, bigger IPA, which was Heathen. So we did that, and I think about 2 days after we brewed it, I then actually got a call from one of our hop suppliers saying, I've managed to free up 100 kilos of Citra if you're interested. It's like, oh, great. So Heathen then got rebrewed a few times because it proved even, like, at the time, even more popular, I think, than Faith was. I guess we were able to do the odd batch of that. So then, as I say, when we got to like 2017 and wanted to lean into the hazy New England styles, again, Heathen was more or less ready-made. Just sort of the recipe evolved into being, again, more opaque, more smooth, more malts and wheat in there, more leaning towards the dry hop. And again, it's been here ever since. Not as regular as Faith. Again, it's 7.2 IPA, so it's always been a slower mover. But again, that's one that's just recently, I mean, it's in one of the grocery stores. I can't tell you where any of them are. But yeah, again, that's become more of a regular thing. And so we actually, bring quite a lot of that at the moment. And then, so yeah, we've the whole Faith kind of brand's evolved. We have our family of Faith now as well. So we moved in the downward direction as well. We now have a little Faith, which is a 4% like on trade only. So it's keg and cask only version of Faith. I think Faith's obviously sessionable and great, but 5.4, I think when you're drinking it by the pint, 5.4 is sort of the top edge for a lot of people, I think. And I guess 2 or 3 pints of Faith, and you might start feeling a little bit full, but try to do exactly the same flavor profile and body and texture, but at 4%, but to a point that you can probably comfortably have a session on it. And so I mean, Little Face works really well, so that's growing really fast on the on-trade side. And then we've done Holy Faith, the alcohol-free version. Again, like big opportunity there. There's obviously more and more people aren't drinking alcohol, and the alcohol-free options are obviously growing so fast. It's a quite exciting time to play around in that area as well.
Me and Paul have actually talked about this because we'd love to kind of do something that kind of explores perhaps the future of beer and what craft beer perhaps looks like down the line. And I think one thing that we both agreed on was that low and no alcohol beers are going to be like way bigger than they are now.
For sure.
On top of your kind of more, I suppose, pragmatic and practical versions of Faith, there is also ones that are kind of like there's Faith with glitter in it, I think.
We did a Faith in Love for Valentine's Day, so coloured it red and threw glitter at it.
But that would have tasted pretty much the same as...
It was exactly the same base beer. We took the base beer and we played with it. So exactly the same base.
It's like an exercise in marketing.
Yeah, of course. It's a bit of fun, but it's... Yeah. Always, I'm sure Russ talks about it a lot as well. Like, we're all about the idea of the beer experience, and it's not just the taste of beer, it's about who you drink it with, where you drink it with. It's not just the taste, it's the sights and the feel and stuff. So it's just, I know, playing around on that, and as we do quite a lot of stuff like playing around with candy and things like that.
I mean,
playing like childhood memories and stuff, like people love that.
Yeah, that was kind of going to be the natural segue actually. Obviously, touching upon like those little beer experiences, obviously you've got, I would say, well, the one thing I've always hugely admired about Northern Monk is just the kind of the marketing aspect. I'll say your marketing geniuses with your kind of experimental edge to an approach to beer and kind of just pushing the boundaries with your things like your scampi fries, pale ale and your cheese and onion lager. How do those kind of things come about?
Usually conversations over a pint. So kind of all angles. Obviously, marketing has a fair input on those. I mean, Russ is always thinking about those kind of projects, and again, it's just trying to get outside the beer bubble a little bit. I think it's like same reason you have a sort of a core range. We love doing specials and with wonderful beers, but that's actually such a small section of actual beer drinkers. If you think about it, like most people they drink what's in the pub, they drink what's in the supermarket. They're not gonna find you by a Patrons project, by DDH IPA, but they'll find you by faith in the supermarket or faith in the local pub. Or they'll find you by somebody sharing, have you seen this brewery done a beer that tastes like scampi fries?
Totally.
And it's insane. So it's getting outside that beer bubble. I get messages from friends who have no interest in beer about those beers, about the Aunt Bessie's beers. And so that you're getting outside. And the same reason we collaborate with these brands from outside the industry, same reason we love doing the Patrons projects to work with different artists and stuff, because you're getting outside of that bubble of craft beer and hopefully bringing more people into it.
Totally. It makes it more accessible.
Industry,
I mean, kind of following on as well from that, you pulled a double bluff on your April Fool's thing, where it was like you put that out there on social media that you were pub snack beers, wasn't it? And then like a week or so later, you actually announced, no, these are actually going to be in pubs.
We've been doing that for years, and it's amazing how many people still find it funny. I think our first one we ever did was might be 2017 actually, or maybe 2018. But we did our production manager met the marketing team from Sharknado in the pub, as you do, and things escalated, and we were like, we'll do this collaboration with Sharknado, this B movie, and so we posted about this blood orange sea salt beer at 1 minute past noon on April 1st, and then a week later we made it. Following year, Henderson's Relish, again, same deal, posted about it just after midday, and then and it got to the point now we take them outside with the April Fool's then, because people know what we do. We love playing around with unusual ingredients and unusual brands. But it's good fun. But last year we actually posted something and didn't make it, and that was the bigger surprise, I think. We said we'd done it was going to be a collaboration with Potts stock, the little tin stock, because when that stuff launched, we got so many messages on social media going, it looks like a Northern Monk beer. So we're like, well, we'll play into that. So we said we did a beef stock ale and conditioned it on mints and stuff like that, which it's insanity. You'd never condition a beer on actual mints. And we were getting angry messages from people saying, how you're irresponsible, how dare you condition beer on mints? And we're like, we haven't actually made it. For months later, everyone's like, where can I buy this beef mince beer? And it's like, victims of our own mucking about. So.
No, and obviously me and Paul through the Planet Beer TV channel, we did this kind of to announce that we were doing a couple of features with you. We did this kind of April Fool's ourselves, where we said we wanted to do a beer shower gel, like a hazy pale New England shower gel, and we were both like, okay, we can do that as a sketch, but we just need a brewery that could lend some credibility to it. And both of us at the same time went, Northern Monk. Sure enough, I mean that's the thing.
Sure, that's fun. But there is a shower gel with there's that Faith branded shower gel now, isn't there? I think people kept tagging us in that as well. Isn't there one in that Lidl or Aldi? That's it, Faith in Nature shower gel.
Oh really? And because of the name, they're just thinking.
Yeah. And everyone just assumes it's something to do with us.
To kind of bring it back round to Faith then, because we're nearly at the end of it. What makes it a special beer for you personally?
Guess just the evolution of it. It's been with us from very early. It really was it's been various landmarks over the last 10 years where you can sort of say that moment was pretty influential. And the first time we brewed Faith, I remember pointing at a trade show and people were rushing up to try it. And then having to put it away and then bring it back was so frustrating for us because we knew its potential. And then it was one of the first of its style, hazy American pale ale, pretty much first of its kind. So it's monumental from that point of view, and also just we all really love it. It's one of those beers we actually got to the point where we were all the brewers are never happy with anything. We got to kind of point where we'd be having pints upstairs on a Friday and we're like, this is actually tasting really, really good. We're really happy with it. We're really proud of it. And I say that's kind of one of the reasons we decided it was time to roll that out to the wider market, because that's kind of the line we took, because we're really proud of this beer, and we think we want to make everybody get to try it, and hopefully share the same opinions we do. And then I say we rolled it out and it went absolutely nuts. We could not make enough of it for the last 3-4 years, and so that beer drinkers clearly feel the same way about it. It's been great. Right. And it's getting through COVID and seeing it grow and seeing that actually kind of resonate, being able to have that sort of message behind it, everyone resonating with everyone, and knowing how many people were just drinking away through tough times. But yeah, how they're drinking it, in during those times, it was, I think it just meant more and more to us.
It resonated really well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to ask this as a standard question, but I think I kind of know what the answer's going to be. But, we always like to ask, like, what beers are you really into? What kind of got you into beer, and what do you drink now?
I got into the beer in the same way most. I think we're sort of getting to the craft beer side. I'd say I was working in pubs sort of around sort of 2010 kind of time, when like beers like Sierra Nevada, Odell, Stone, Dogfish Head, all sort of started coming to the UK for the first time. I was trying Belgian Trappers beers. I was trying anything I could get my hands on. So I got into beer all the same ways. And IPA, I would say Odell IPA was like my desert island beer, because I was like the first IPA that I proper got, like these big US IPAs. Absolutely love it to this day. And I've gone, when we started the brewery, I was as much a beer nerd as everybody. I was, doing bottle shares every weekend, like hoarding lambics, hoarding imperial stouts, but I think just, taste evolved, and again, so I guess going back to that core beer now, where like there's certain beers and certain breweries which, if you see them in the bar, you trust them and they're reliable, and so like for me, it's like breweries like Thornbridge, like big fan of Red Willow and Macclesfield, like breweries like Marble. You go in and see like a Marble pint on the bar, or a Thornbridge Lucas, the Hellas Lager, like you just know that's going to be good and it's reliable. So drink quite a lot of Thornbridge Lucas these days. That's my favourite lager, and gone full around, drink plenty of Landlord in White Locks, as is the tradition in Leeds. I think you just go full circle, and these beers and these breweries are as craft and important as any IPA brewer or anything, and there's like that consistency and reliability to them, which you just come to appreciate. And especially with lager, you really start to appreciate, like, there's nowhere to hide on a lager. It's like in many ways the hardest beer to make a really good lager consistently, especially on a smaller scale, is so hard. Your respect for those beers just grows after a few years, I think.
Before we wrap up, because I think the noise is going to kick in, have you ever done any kind of, because obviously the Northern Monk thing, you just mentioned Belgian beers there.
Yeah.
Me and Paul are massive fans of Belgian beers. We love Belgium. Have you ever done a collaboration with any kind of Trappist stuff? No,
we haven't done anything with Trappists. There is quite a funny Trappist-related story for Faith, which I guess we can finish with. We once had some of the monks from, I guess, like the sales team from West Mall here for lunch a few years ago, and Russ was hosting them. So it was actually 2015. So we were chat away, and the monks sort of say how they don't use religion to sell the beer, and I was like, and Russ is like, no, we're the same, we're not religious, we're not monks, we don't want to do that either. So this is our newest beer, it's called Faith. Oh, okay.
Whoops.
But it'd be fun to do. We've done, we've worked with people like Brussels Beer Project and stuff, but we haven't worked with any of the traditional Belgian breweries yet. No. Again, the whole monk thing doesn't really, it's more the community and element of the monks brewing, the heritage of it, and
totally,
that the name came from, but it'd be certainly a good thing to do one day if West Mall,
that'd be great.
If we didn't offend West Mall too much, they're most welcome to come.
Yeah, make that happen.
Sounds
anyway,
good.
Brian, thanks so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.